Hey everybody, it's Phil Evans with Keller Williams Realty, and I want to take you through the home buying process from my view of things. Okay, I'm a millennial, and I know a lot of people are doing all their marketing like home buying for the millennial and things like that. Honestly, it's kind of annoying because it's like even as a millennial, my needs and interests aren't really any different than when my parents bought a home. We need the same information. What differs is how we get our information these days, right? And how much information is available to us. We don't have a gatekeeper standing in between us and the information that we need. So it's really not any different. However, because of that information and how that's changed and how we get it and how quickly we get it, the home buying process has kind of changed. And so I want to take you through not necessarily a home buying process for millennials, but a home buying process for anybody in the new age. Okay, so this is the new home buying process that you should be aware of. And if this is your first time buying a home, then forget about the old process. It's very similar to this one, but this is kind of the more realistic way of doing things now as a home buyer. Okay, so the first step is get pre-approved. Now, where do you go to get pre-approved? That's the big question. Okay, on my YouTube channel, I have a ton of loan videos. You can find out anything you need to know about what's the paperwork needed, the timing, the process, the different types of lenders, things like that. But if you have any questions, as always, I'm available to you. Just reach out to me and I'd be happy to answer your questions directly. So the first thing is to get pre-approved because that tells us what we can afford. The first step we all do is go online and look at properties online. But until you really know what you can afford, you're going to start looking at a lot of properties because they're just going to get nicer and nicer the higher the price range. And you're going to think, oh, I wish I could get that one, or maybe I could get that one. And then you're going to start getting a little depressed maybe because you're like, I really want that house, but I don't think I can afford it. So maybe I should wait. And it gets difficult. So really, honestly, the first step, find out what you can afford and be real about that. If you can afford a little bit for a home rather than 3 beds rather than 4, then just start there. That's okay. So find out what you can afford. Then the next thing is to check out homes online. Now, the reality is most of us are going to do this first and then do that, and that's okay. But you basically want to start looking at what you like, okay? The third one is go to open houses. Now, this may seem obvious, right? Like I'm going to look at properties online and then I'm going to go look at them in person. However, there's a lot of home buyers that are really nervous about this whole process here and they don't want to talk to anybody. This is the biggest thing you can do. Talk to as many people as you can. Because we are in this high technology world, it's so easy for us to just want to try to get all of our questions answered online, right? Like maybe there's a blog about it, or maybe I can watch, Phil's YouTube channel and he'll give me the answers to my questions. I don't have to talk to anybody. Seriously, the best thing you can do as a home buyer is talk to as many people as you can. That includes lenders and agents as soon as possible, okay? Because they're going to give you the information that you can't get online, like the local stuff, the local stats, the local understanding that, for example, my buyers just beat out 8 offers last week, and the week before that we had to beat out 5, and the week before that we had to beat out 4. So you can see that progression. Those agents and lenders are going to be able to tell you that information that online information is not. So talk to as many people as you can, and that's where you're going to interview your agents. Okay, when you find people that you want to talk to, you're going to probably find them at an open house. Okay, here's the open house etiquette. Okay, when you go to an open house, you do not need to ignore the agent that is there. The agent that is there may be trying to work with you, but you want to find that out by talking with them. Okay, so don't walk into an open house and like try to ignore them and be like, don't talk to me. I'm not ready to talk to you yet. It's kind of like when you go into a store and the clerk says, can I help you find anything? And you're just like, no, thanks, just browsing. That's okay to do when you walk into an open house. Like, no, just looking, thanks so much. However, you are going to want to find out if that agent is somebody that you want to interview in the future. So that means talking to them, and you're basically going to want to ask them, are you here representing the seller? Okay, are you the listing agent representing the seller? Or are you just another random agent looking to pick up buyers? Okay, and both of those are fine. Be careful about dual agency. I'll make a video about that later. That's something you definitely want to have your own representation as a buyer. and it doesn't cost you anything. The seller pays the buyer agent's commission, so you should have your own representation. Just like if you're going to, a court of law, you're not going to use the person who's suing you. You're not going to use their lawyer, right? You're going to have your own lawyer. So it's the same thing. You're going to go buy your most expensive financial asset. You don't want to use the agent that the seller is using. They've already committed loyalty to that person. So talk to a lot of agents, find out, are you going to represent just me, and what can you do for me? Okay, so that's when you're interviewing agents. Please feel like you don't have to commit to an agent. Okay, if you want to talk with an agent either at an open house or they try to have a sit down with you and say, look, let me find out if I can help you or not, don't feel like you're committed to that agent. You can work with whatever agent you want up until the point that you have that agent basically looking at properties for you. And every agent understands that. So please know that you can pick their brain as much as you want. But the point where you say, go look at this property for me or with me, then you should let them know, like, I'm going to work with you or I'm not. But you don't want them to be driving around town for you if you're not going to use them. That's the etiquette, okay, as far as working with agents, just so you know. But you should be able to talk to as many as you want, get as much information from them as you can about what they're going to do for you, okay? Again, like I said, my other buyers, I help beat out 8 other offers, okay? That's the real value of an agent. Understand that. Finding a home, you're already doing up here, okay? That's not the value of an agent, is helping you find the place you want to live necessarily. The value is getting you that home, okay? And that comes through their local relationships, understanding how to make the best offer for you. And those are the questions you want to find out. How long have you been in the business? How much business do you do? And what are you going to do to help me set apart from all the other offers on the table, okay? So interviewing agents. Then you're going to go to disclosures. Now, for most of the country, you're going to make an offer first, and then you're going to get your disclosures. And then from there, you're going to renegotiate with the sellers or decide not to buy the house or move forward, okay? In our area and other very competitive areas, the seller often will provide the disclosures for you. The disclosures, there's basically a few different documents that are really important. One of them is going to be the property inspection. It's going to tell you how good the roof is, the foundation, things like that, other repairs. And the second that you really want to pay attention to is the pest report, okay? The pest report is going to tell you, do you have termites in the house or beetles or dry rot, things like that, that's going to be affecting your foundation and other parts of the house. And so those are going to be like the most costly things that you need to be aware of. So whether you make the offer and then get the disclosures, or whether you get the disclosures and decide to make the offer, this just depends on your area, and you'll know that from talking with the agents, okay? The next step is when you do make an offer, you want to offer for the future, okay? Now, what this means basically is that when you have 8 other offers that you're contending with, and I know around the country it's different, you might have 1 other offer, or 3 or 5 or whatever, or none. But if you have multiple offers, don't try to think about what the seller is making on the house, especially if they've been in there for like 30 years and they paid $100,000 for the house and now they're selling it for $500,000. One of the biggest mistakes my buyers make is they start thinking, well, how much is the seller making, right? And do I want them to make that much? It's completely pointless, because a home is going to sell for what the fair market value is of the home. And the only thing you should worry about as the buyer is, are you going to be in there in the future long enough? If you're going to be there for 3 or 5 or 10 years, or maybe this is the home, you have small children, you plan on being in this home until they're out of high school, maybe it's going to be like 18 or 20 years. That's the question, is where's the market going to be in 20 years or 5 years or 10 years? And is it going to be more than I've paid for the house now? Unless this is an investment, and that's a whole different topic that you want to talk with your agent about. But don't worry so much about whether you're going to be making money on the house. Only worry about, are you buying at the top of the market, and in 5 or 10 or 15 years when you're not there anymore, is it going to be lower? That's a valid question. But to be honest, I don't know of any market where you're going to be in a home for 10, 15, 20 years and you're going to sell for less than you did before we bought the house, okay? So really think about buying for the future, and that's going to help you beat out those other offers. Because here's the thing, guys. As a home buyer, if you have multiple offers, let's say even like 3, okay? Let's say you have 3 other buyers that want the same house, and one of those buyers wins the house. That means you have 2 other people that are shopping in the same neighborhood for the same kind of houses you are. okay? So you still are gonna have more competition for the next house. And every month that you wait for that next house to come on and then compete and hope that you beat out those other buyers, that's costing you money. As interest rates go up, it's costing you money. As the new comparables are set from the neighborhood, that's costing you money because now the next home is gonna come on for as much or more than the other house did that you lost. So you really want to get in and be very competitive when you find that house that you wanna make an offer on. Win that house, okay? And be happy with that. There's no way to overpay because you have an appraiser, a lender, an agent, and yourself that are basically saying, look, if this property doesn't appraise, you're gonna have to cover it. Do you have the money for that? And if you don't, then you're not gonna make that offer. So you're not really gonna overpay for a property, okay? What you're gonna do though is pay more if you lose that property. So go in strong, go in with an offer for the future, meaning think about what's this property gonna be worth when I wanna sell it in 5 or 10 or 20 years or whatever. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, reach out to me. I'll be happy to explain that further and give you some numbers and things like that. Next step, EMD stands for earnest money deposit. Basically, this is when you put a chunk of your down payment into escrow, telling the sellers that you're serious. Okay, you're going to give them, put a little bit of money on the line and say, look, I'm going to risk a few $1,000s and I love your house and I want to buy it. So that's the earnest money deposit. Generally, that's going to be within 1 business day. So be prepared for that. We generally are going to wire that money. Okay. And so that's why it goes very quick. You walk into the bank, you tell them this is where I want the money to be wired to, give them the routing number, and that's about it. Okay, so very quick, easy process, but that is a big step financially. And then your lender is going to order the appraisal. Depends on where you are in the country. It could take anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks, but that's the next big step. Is the house going to appraise? Okay, and again, your agent and your lender should be working with you to make sure that you did not pay so much that the house does not appraise and you can't afford it. Okay, so that's the next step. And then the last one is signed documents. Now, close of escrow. Escrow is that holding period that they're going to hold your earnest money deposit. Okay, they're going to put all the paperwork and the documents together for you. That's escrow and title for the West Coast, at least. You're going to sign documents after, generally a close of escrow is 30 days. Okay, it can be anywhere from about 18, 21, or 30 days are the big 3 time periods on that. And you're going to sign documents either 1 or 2 days before your close of escrow. So that's the next big period that you're looking for. And then your close of escrow, what that really means is that you are on record with the county as the new homeowners, okay? It means you start paying for property taxes and insurance and all those things that it goes with being a homeowner. But that's kind of it. So these are the big 4 points that your agent, your lender, and your escrow officer will be in touch with you about after you make the offer. But that's about it. So again, let's wrap it up by going back to the beginning. Guys, get pre-approved. If you need a fantastic lender, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to share mine. You can reach out to me at philevans@kw.com, and my phone number is 650-503-3694. Thanks so much.